across the American South, the past is never truly gone. It clings to the soil, to the walls, to every shadow creeping across old plantation floors. And in some places, that past refuses to rest. Tonight we journey into 3 of Tennessee's most storied and most haunted historic mansions. Each stands as a monument to beauty and tragedy, to war and loss, to lives shaped by sorrow, and to spirits who, according to witnesses, still linger. We begin with a home soaked in the blood of one of the Civil War's most violent nights, then move to a plantation wrapped in mystery and chilling local lore, and finally to a mansion whose story is one of the South's most heartbreaking legends. This is the true haunted history of Carnton Mansion, Wheatland Plantation, and Rotherwood Mansion. In Franklin, Tennessee, stands Carnton, a plantation home built in 1826 by former Nashville Mayor Randall McGavick. Beautiful, peaceful, and absolutely drenched in the blood of the American Civil War. Its brick facade and manicured grounds hide a truth far darker than most people would expect, because Carnton is not merely a historic home, it is the silent witness to one of the Civil War's bloodiest nightmares, the Battle of Franklin. On November 30th, 1864, Union and Confederate forces collided just south of Franklin in a brutal 5-hour battle fought mostly after sunset. Nearly 10,000 casualties fell in a single night. This was one of the highest death rates of the entire war. Gunfire erupted so close to Carnton that the McGavick family felt vibrations through the brickwork. As wounded Confederate soldiers stumbled away from the battlefield, they saw the glow of Carnton's windows and headed toward it like a beacon of hope. The mansion instantly transformed into a field hospital. The floors of the children's rooms, the dining room, and the upstairs bedrooms became operating tables. Surgeons worked shoulder to shoulder, performing amputations with little anesthesia. The wounded screamed, bled, and died on the hardwood floors. There were so many that the blood soaked permanently into the wood. Those stains remain today. Witnesses describe them as dark patches that tell a story no book can ever fully capture. Carnton is one of the few historic homes in America where physical traces of wartime emergency surgery are still visible. 4 Confederate generals, Cleburne, Adams, Strahl, and Granbury, were carried to Carnton's back porch after they were killed in battle. Their bodies were laid side by side, covered gently by blankets, but exposed to the cold night air as soldiers kept vigil over them. After the war, Carnton became home to the McGavick Confederate Cemetery, containing nearly 1,500 graves, carefully organized by the state. The McGavick family personally worked with survivors to identify or honor the fallen. Today, walking through that cemetery is a quiet, humbling experience. The rows of graves stretch in every direction, a sea of white markers representing lives cut short. Where there is trauma, there are often stories of spirits. Visitors, tour guides, and even caretakers have reported a woman in a light-colored 19th century dress watching from the upstairs balcony, soldiers marching at night, boots hitting gravel when no one is there, sudden drops in temperature around blood-stained rooms, voices whispering in empty hallways, and lantern-like lights drifting across the cemetery. Some claim the scent of pipe smoke appears randomly on the porch, which is believed to be the lingering presence of soldiers or officers awaiting news. Others describe a figure of a young boy running through the halls. The little boy is thought to be one of the McGavick children who witnessed the chaos of the hospital. Carnton isn't just haunted, it is emotionally charged. It is a place where thousands suffered and where many breathed their final agonizing breaths. And some say those moments still echo through the walls. About 2 hours east of Franklin lies Wheatland Plantation, located on Boyd's Creek in Sevierville, Tennessee. Unlike Carnton, which is well documented in historical records, Wheatland is wrapped in a mixture of real history and legend. And the legends are intense. Long before the plantation home was built in the early 1800s, Boyd's Creek was the site of violent conflict. In 1780, during the Revolutionary War era, a deadly skirmish unfolded here between colonial militia and Cherokee warriors. This part of Tennessee has a deeply layered history and layered trauma. The two-story federal-style home, known as Wheatland, is frequently labeled as one of Tennessee's most haunted houses. Local lore states that over 70 people died on the property, including murders, wartime casualties, and family tragedies. While the exact number is not historically confirmed, many separate events undoubtedly occurred here throughout its long history. One of Wheatland's most retold stories involves the killing of a father by his own son, an emotionally explosive tragedy that local tradition insists left a permanent blood stain on the wooden floor. Visitors point to a dark patch that is immune to cleaning or restoration. The gravity of the story has powered countless ghost tours. Behind the plantation lies a mass grave, possibly tied to the earlier Boyd's Creek conflict or later events. Ground-penetrating radar studies have been referenced by some investigators, though official archaeological records are limited. Regardless, it is believed that dozens of unnamed individuals rest beneath the soil. Visitors and investigators report shadow figures blocking doorways, footsteps on the staircase when the house is empty, sudden temperature drops, children's laughter from the upstairs rooms, a man in dark clothing standing silently in the corner, and doors closing on their own. Some guests describe Wheatland as if the walls are alive and as though something watches them pass from room to room. One paranormal team recorded what sounded like a woman crying. This was captured in a room believed to be connected to childbirth-related deaths. Whether these tales are folklore or something more, Wheatland feels heavily charged, like a house still holding the memories of every soul that ever passed through it. Of all Tennessee's haunted mansions, Rotherwood may be the most tragic. Built in 1818, overlooking the Holston River, the mansion was the grand vision of Reverend Frederick Augustus Ross, a wealthy, influential minister and author. But behind its charming facade is a legacy soaked in heartbreak. Rowena was known as one of the area's great beauties. She was kind-hearted, gentle, and admired by many. But her life unfolded like a Greek tragedy. At a young age, she fell deeply in love with a local man. Their engagement was celebrated throughout the region, but joy turned to horror when her fiancé drowned during a boating trip. His body sunk into the Holston River and was never recovered. Rowena was inconsolable. After years of mourning, she eventually accepted the proposal of a second suitor, only for him to die suddenly of illness before the wedding. Once again, her heart shattered. Rowena later married a third man and bore a daughter, but by all accounts, she was never the same. Depression weighed on her until, according to generations of local legend, she walked into the river in a white gown and drowned. To this day, countless witnesses claim to see a woman in a flowing white dress drifting along the riverbank, a pale figure standing on the mansion steps at dusk, and a ghostly bride wandering through the upstairs hallway. Rotherwood's version of the White Lady is not a generic ghost tale. Her story is tied directly to the documented tragedies of the Ross family. After the Ross family sold the estate, it was purchased by Joshua Phipps, a man remembered in local accounts as deeply cruel. Stories, though not all fully documented, claim that Phipps used a whipping post inside the house to control enslaved laborers. Cruelty, fear, and violence became associated with the mansion during this period. Some say the house itself reacted to the darkness, shadows forming in corners, objects moving on their own, unexplained voices calling out. One chilling account from the late 1800s describes a visitor hearing laughter echo from an empty room, followed by a sudden gust of freezing wind. While Rowena is seen as a sorrowful presence, many report a darker male apparition believed to be connected to the Phipps era. Descriptions include a tall shadow with no visible features, a heavy, oppressive energy, a figure standing beside beds as guests sleep, and whispers saying, "Get out." Some paranormal researchers refer to him as the overseer. Rotherwood has caught fire multiple times, undergone major reconstruction, and changed hands repeatedly. Locals say the land itself rejects peace and that sorrow was woven into its foundation. Even today, those who pass by late at night swear the blinds sometimes move on their own, or that a woman stands at the upstairs window, staring silently towards the river where her love was lost. Carnton, Wheatland, and Rotherwood, three mansions shaped by war, love, loss, and human suffering. Three places where the past clings stubbornly to the present. Whether the spirits people claim to see are truly ghosts or simply echoes of powerful, unresolved history, one thing is undeniable. Some houses remember every cry, every death, every heartbreak, and sometimes they continue to speak. If you enjoyed tonight's deep dive into true haunted history, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another journey into the unknown. Until next time, listen carefully, because even in silence, the past is never truly gone.